Hi there, Marika. Welcome to Tama's podcast. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. The reception is better. I can hear you. I can see you. Thank you so much for allowing me to do that one more time. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
Um, thanks. Yes, yes.
nice
Much
one.
better.
That's so much better. Thank you. So, introduce yourself to us, please. Who are you?
I go by the pen name Amari Kai, and I write steamy suspense, and steamy psychological suspense novels.
Nice one. And I believe you have also ADHD, is that correct?
Yes, I have ADHD.
Yeah.
Day job, I work as an occupational therapy practitioner. Have
Mm.
ADHD, so I'm
Mhm.
neurospicy, but
Okay, so the reason why I brought that up because as a teacher, I do have a lot of pupils that have ADHD, and I have to say, I wish we offer better provisions for them because it really is hard to stay sitting down in class and focus because you always want to move about. So how do you deal with it? Being a therapist, being an author, your everyday life, how do you manage it all?
well, first is meds. But sometimes meds doesn't, it doesn't do everything. So it's getting into things that are the most meaningful to me. And those things, because they're meaningful and interesting, it helps to hold my attention. I take a lot of notes. I have reminders. So I have a lot of things in place that kind of help to curb some of, the areas where I might struggle. I give myself breaks. I give myself grace. But the biggest part for me was really understanding ADHD and how it works, and how it impacts me, because it's not a one size fits all. But since I love to write, it's ADHD has kind of been my superpower because I could just sit down and just, bang out,
Yes.
thousands of words. So it's worked in my favor from that standpoint.
Yeah, I love the fact that, you make your work around ADHD, if that makes sense. You don't let that stop you. And it's so inspiring because a lot of people think, ADHD, they will not be accepted. That's going to stop them. But actually, it doesn't. I feel like a lot of people, ADHD, are actually the creative people, like in music, in art.
Justin Timberlake,
Yes.
basketball players, singers, actors, actresses, um, a lot of them have some type of neurodivergence, but several of them have ADHD themselves. So that's that creative part. But then it's like, once you're doing what you actually love, it doesn't feel like work. It's not as hard. You can actually get through it and do it.
That's amazing. So tell me, when did your author journey started? When did your writing journey started, actually?
I actually started writing at a really young age. I remember being around 10 years old, and I would write little books in my composition notebook and write like a portion of it, and it would get passed around the classroom and everybody would want to read it, and then I'd get it back and then write the next portion of it. But as far as writing novels and actually, going along the author journey, that started about 2.5, 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And it was really just therapeutic. I just started writing some things down that I had either witnessed or experienced, and noticed how therapeutic it was, but also the stories were quite entertaining. And so
Mm.
I started to fictionalize them and just take like a portion of, whatever story or whatever event that happened to me and started to turn it into fiction.
Wow. Yeah, last time I spoke to you, I think, I don't know if you remember, but I was saying, why do you think there are enough, books that represent us? I feel like the majority, I don't know if you agree, but the majority of books, and I love those books, don't get me wrong, but mainly white characters. Why do you think there's not enough, black authors or minority authors, mixed race authors? Why is there not enough?
I think it's mainly because when publishing, when that started, it was started and created by, a specific group of people. And so the standards were set for those types of people. And now, as time has gone on, and people of color now have equal opportunities to write and like get into things, they're just, the industry is just kind of saturated by the people that it was originally like, built for and around those who started it. And so there are some really great people of color who are also authors, but it, as we know, it's just not the same
Mm,
in number. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I decided to try to publish, because I'd love to change that. There are a lot of literary agents who are looking for people of color to, add to their list. But again, those standards still are based off of publishing standards from however many years ago, which kind of caters to more towards a specific demographic. And
mm,
it's just not the same. Like nobody else can tell your story the way you tell it. It's unique to you.
mm,
So you can't have somebody else, walking in the shoes of a person of color or a person who's neurodivergent and stuff. Yes, you can empathize, sympathize, but nobody has your story. So
mm-hmm,
nobody else can deliver it with the same emotion that you can as the person who's lived it. So,
mm-hmm. Yeah, I loved it because you sent me some paragraph to read. I like the fact that I get inside your shoes. I feel like I see the world in your eyes, what you're feeling, what you're thinking. I like that you use yourself as inspiration and not somebody else's. Why do you, I mean, how brave is it, first of all, to basically write things from your perspective into a character? What makes you, decide to write about your perspective and not make one up?
because it's the easiest to me. For me, it's the easiest,
Yeah.
especially as, like a newer author, it's the easiest because it's easier to tap into those emotions. Now, the book that will be my novel, that will be coming out, with that particular story, it was more so of a situation at work that
Yeah.
I found
Yeah.
myself
Mm.
like, what in the world is going on here? And then it got a bit crazy. But what I ended up doing was, as I was really processing it, like towards the end with, all the craziness happening, really like trying to put myself in that person's shoes
Mm-hmm.
of what they were experiencing, because of course there's my side of how I saw it and what, happened to me, but then there's the person's side of what they were experiencing. um and so I have a degree in psychology. That was my first degree in psychology. And so I really started to tap into that to really peel back the layers of what's going on a psychological level when somebody becomes obsessed with somebody else, when a
Mm-hmm.
person is experiencing limerence, like what is going on? And just trying to peel that back, because yes, being the person on the receiving end, it's uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
but understanding where that person comes from, it's kind of like, okay, you get it, but then you understand why it's important to set boundaries and to protect yourself, but not just for yourself. Also, it's important for that person.
Yeah.
So that way, lines don't get crossed and stuff, but really just to protect yourself. Just because somebody isn't wrapped too tight doesn't mean that you have to accept their nonsense either.
Yeah, nice. I love that you're not, I mean, your writing really shows me that you are somebody who acts with integrity, that you're true to yourself, and it's like being true to your character, and it looks like you care about the character. I love that we delve deep. I feel like, gosh, I feel like it's me. I don't know how to explain this. I'm
That's
like,
awesome. Thank you.
that's
Um,
honestly, I was meant to give you a feedback. I said, no, no, I'm gonna leave this for this talk because it was so emotional, it was so deep, and I've got to say, three progress, I wanted more.
Oh,
I
thank you
was like,
so much. That's so amazing.
it's like I was like, you're so into it, and then it stops. I felt like addicted. I was like, I want more. I want to follow up. So when do you think you're gonna finish this so that we can all have a taste of the whole thing? Because I feel like you give me a taste of the cake, but I want to eat the whole cake.
So the book is actually done. It's in the final round of edits, so I should have it back next month.
You
But then
serious?
yeah, it's the book is done. So um
Thank you so much. I
then
was
once that happens, then I have to go through like line edits and like all the rest of that stuff. So more than likely it'll be out early next year, but I do have a novelette or a novella coming out, and that's gonna come out probably mid to the end of next month.
can I
So
have the
that's
first copy?
shorter. Yeah, so that's shorter. And it's just a teaser, so that way people really get to see my work and stuff. And my team, trying to figure out exactly like what we're gonna do, what we're gonna offer. So I'll be releasing the name of that, I think this week, and I'm gonna start having people sign up to read
Mm.
it. And
I'm
yeah, I
here.
can't wait. I can't wait for it.
I'll buy the book itself anyway, but I feel like I've been cut short. I don't know how to explain. I was so into it. I had, you know what? I think you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I've been reading it over and over again. It was so good. I was like, oh,
Are you serious? Oh, that's wonderful. That's
listen,
so
I love that you take me to your world through that character. I feel like I forgot about me. I forgot about I'm in London. I thought it was wherever you are. You could be in Antarctica for like hey, I love this. I really seriously I feel like there's so much more. I mean, do you think there's gonna be a follow-up, whatever you've written? You think there's gonna be a follow-up to that, or you wanna be like, okay, this is one, but I wanna do something else? I feel like there's so much potential in this character, personally.
with this. So I don't know. I've thought about it once I finished it. I was like, I don't know if this could be like a sequel or something, or if this will be like multiple books. I don't know. I guess it depends on the feedback once people finish reading the whole thing. So, but for my novella, I was definitely thinking, should I expand it into a full novel? But I kept it short, and that, will be out for people this
Mm-hmm.
year. It'll be out, probably in like another month, a month and a half.
Nice
It'll
one.
be released. So, and that one's pretty juicy too. So, like I said, there's theme in it, but it really delves like deep into the characters because in our community, mental health is not really touched.
No, it's not.
We shy away from it. We victim blame or, we stigmatize. And because mental health is so stigmatized, people are afraid to actually address mental health issues.
Yeah.
And it's ruining their lives and the lives of their family and the other people they come into contact with. And that was my biggest reason for writing psychological suspense because that's something that I feel like as a people we do need to overcome because mental health is just as real as a diagnosis of like cancer. And if you get a diagnosis of cancer, you're not just going to sit there and just
Mm.
more than likely you're going to try to do something about it. You're going to treat it. Why don't
Yeah.
we do the same thing when it comes to mental health?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. That's exactly that what you talked about, the mental health. We let's be fair, I don't think we see enough books, mental health dealing with Black people. I feel
Right.
like most of the time, if I don't know how to say this, but it's like we have to put up with so much. We have to put up with it's like an extra thing, okay, deal with it. But I love that. No, it's not okay. We need to speak up. We need to do something about it. We can't
Right.
just get up with it and you know what, you're too weak or whatever. No, mental health is real. If you don't look after your mental well-being, that can lead to depression. I love that it's like almost a taboo subject in a way. I really
It
like
is.
yeah. I really
It
like I
is.
think a lot of people, and I'm not just saying Black people, but a lot of people can relate to this book dealing with so many things. So, like you said, I think waiting for people. feedback, but I can tell you right now, I'm an avid reader. I feel like I would like more than just that. I feel like it's like I'm putting you to work, but seriously, I feel like it's not enough. We need to know. There's so many layers into the character they can build. There's so many things. Listen, this is you, this is your baby, but I feel like there's so much more. Honestly, I loved it. The three paragraphs, the first line even hooked me up. I was like, yo, what's happening? Like, I
Yes.
loved it.
No, I sent you the first, what did I send you? I sent you the first chapter, right?
Yeah, you sent me three.
The first three chapters.
Yeah, pink.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
remember. Or was it the first chapter? I don't remember.
But listen, I loved
It
it.
might have been the first chapter. I can't recall, but
Yeah, listen, that's what I'm saying. I'm so into that. Maybe I'm the one who want more, but I really loved it. I'm a massive fan. I mean, even the way when I met you, I remember you were on Instagram, you said, "Oh, I'm a new writer." Yeah, like you're inviting us into what you're doing. And I love that. I was like, okay, so let me see what she's about. And I like that you said to me that you were a shy person, but I'm like, how can you be shy when inviting people to come to your profile and see what you have to offer? And I like the fact that you don't have any idea that you are more confident than you think. You are more open, not shy like you think. I feel like you got this. I feel like there's so much layer in you as a person, and then you bring that to your characters. I mean, I love it. It's like I'm actually shy, but here I am as an author. Like I really
I
love
have to
it.
push myself. I have to push
Yeah,
myself
but well done. You
because
said there was something that pushed you. There was a person that you mentioned that actually encouraged you and pushes you to do what you're doing. So who's that person?
yeah, a friend of mine actually was telling me that, you just need to get out there. You have to overcome it. He was like, you need to get on camera. Um, and so he's like, if you really want this, and it is something that I really want. And
Mm-hmm.
so finally I said, okay, I'm gonna do it. But I think for me, it's shifting the focus. So it's shifting the focus off of me and onto my work
Yeah.
because that's what I really want people to see. And then they'll
Mm-hmm.
see me through my work, but it's really more about what I'm able to give to, the people who read my books, like my readers, my audience. um that mental health piece is just so important to me because again, just as somebody with a degree in psychology and I have ADHD and I have anxiety and stuff like that, but then also dealing with people who have severe mental health issues,
Mm.
especially when it comes to diagnoses where it's like there's treatment for it
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to hold you captive if you would just go get some treatment. But people
Mm-hmm.
avoid diagnosis. They don't want to get diagnosed and then they don't want to go for treatment. And then also empowering people
Yeah.
because the more the more you can do, the more you're aware, then the more that you can do about it. And things like, what makes a narcissist, or what makes somebody like, somebody with major depression, or just maybe you're fine, but life circumstances throws you into, you know, depression or something, but just seeing those signs instead of just calling somebody lazy or
Mm-hmm.
motivated, understanding that the brain doesn't quite work that way. So
Yeah.
having grace, but sometimes just understanding and then knowing when it's time to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. No, it's totally what you're saying. I feel like sometimes also people try to blame you, like, oh, you know what? You got yourself in that position, it's your
Hmm.
fault, you're not doing enough. I'm like, I came to understand more as a teacher about well-being because before I was so good at hiding it. I was like, oh, you know what? I have to keep up with it, I have to deal with it. But then I realized it's okay to say that you're not okay. It's
Right.
okay to ask for help. It's okay to actually say, you know what, I'm not feeling great. So I'd
Right.
like people to be more encouraged to open up because the more you bottle it in, it's not healthy. That might
Nope.
lead to depression and that might lead to other illnesses. You don't know. So it's very important. I really wish there was more books like that out there that really touch up into well-being. And I'm sure, thanks to you, you paved the way, for other authors to say, look, actually, instead of delving to adventure comedy, let's actually delve into real issues that we don't really talk about. That's fantastic.
Right. And comedy is great. All those other things are great, but sometimes let's look at some stories that, like my goal is to not only entertain, but to educate while I'm
Yes.
entertaining. So
Yes.
that's why I throw in some steam because I mean honestly, sex sells, but and a lot of
That's
people
true.
like, smut. But some in all of my books, there'll be a part of me in one of the characters. So whether it's, some part of my personality that goes into one of the characters or, what have you, there'll be a part of me. There's a part of just like my natural voice or my viewpoint or something.
Yes.
Because these are all based off of real stories, even if it's just a small part that I build a completely fictional world or the rest of the plot around, it's still a part of me, either something I know or something I've been through or something that, I've heard about or something that, maybe a friend of mine or something and, say, okay, well, I might throw this in and it might serve as the launch pad for my plot, but there's me in it. And sometimes it might be funny, it might be sad, but those are all human emotions and we are human. And part of that comes with understanding the way our brains work.
Yes, totally. That's exactly that. And I did mention you as well that I'm somebody I've always loved to read forever. That's something that would never change, I believe. And I think that should never change. But what do you think there's not enough? I won't say black women, but more black men, black young boys. Why are they not reading enough? That's one thing that I don't know if it's the same in America, but in the UK, we don't have enough, you know, black, young black people reading. I mean, is it the same in America?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So it
I
was just
could
a
say
UK thing.
I could say for myself, growing up, I liked to read, and then there was a point where I didn't like it anymore. But then I came to realize that it was because of my ADHD. And
That makes
so the other reason why I write is because I wanted to write for my brain, stories that were captivating enough to keep me hooked and actually wanting to read. And part of that is seeing yourself in these stories. And that would
sense.
come from us because again, nobody can tell your story. No, another person can't live your experience and then tell your experience. So
Mm-hmm.
when I feel like when stories kind of connect better to us and we can see ourselves like there's representation of us, of our voice, of things we've gone through, things we feel, it kind of pulls you in more and then
Yes.
you want to read more.
That's true. That's so true. I think last time I spoke to you, there was this upcoming author. I mean, upcoming. I feel like now he's doing great. Like Darren Williams. I don't know if you heard of him before.
I think I might have seen your interview with him.
Yeah. So that's an amazing story. He said he was actually he's somebody that likes to read. It was actually he went looking for a book about adventure, like Harry Potter style,
Mhm.
but he wanted something with a black character and he couldn't find any. And then he told me, look, instead of waiting for it to happen, why can't I make it happen? And he used some of his childhoods, some of his own stories into creating this character they made. And now it is a bestseller, New York, bestseller, I think that's how you call it. He went to I think, Kerry Clarkson show. I mean, his
That's
book is
awesome.
actually yes, going around. And I remember I said to myself, I insisted to have this guy coming on my podcast. I said before it gets too big. And I was texting, emailing all the time. At one point he's like, yeah, let me just come on it. And I like the fact that when you talk to him, just like you guys don't realize what you guys are actually creating, the impact what your idea has is having on others, because honestly, he didn't know that, oh, yeah, but that's what I wanted for myself. But now look at that. Everybody's reading it.
That's
I feel
awesome.
like it's the same. Yeah, it's the same for you as well, because you're like, you know what? I've got this going on. I've got ADHD. I've got a therapeutic background. I like writing. For me, it's more for therapy. But then you don't realize that a lot of us, we need that first step, because all of us been thinking about things, and you actually put it out there. I loved it. And thanks to you, I want to say that I've started my first step into writing. So I want to say thank you so much
Awesome. I
for
love
your
that.
encouragement. It took, it's not, I mean, I've got to say, it's not easy. I don't know how. Yeah, so actually, let's delve into it. How do you put pen into paper? How do you start that process? Because me, I started, but I'm getting stuck. Does that happen to you?
Yeah, so I've gotten stuck before because, well, with both books that I've written, I've gotten stuck. Um, and it's usually right in the middle for me as I'm like trying to like build the story. And when that happens, I usually just set it aside and I'll leave it alone. I'll walk away from it for, a couple of weeks or so, and then my brain will start to recharge and like start to give me ideas again. And then I'll go back to it and write. I think I'm more of a pantser. I don't really outline, but again, I have ADHD.
Yeah.
Because if I outline, the book probably isn't gonna get written because I'll be
Yeah.
done by the time I'm done outlining. But so the sample of the book that I sent you, I actually wrote that book backwards
Ah.
because I was writing the end of it. Well, I was taking notes because as things started to get crazy, I started taking notes because I told myself I was going to write about it. And so as I took notes and then when I went in to like, fictionalize it and just, completely change a lot of the elements, I started at the end
Nice.
because that was what was happening like at the moment. And it was a way for me to process like what the hell is going on? Um, so that part of it was done. And then I went back and started to like at the beginning, like just trying to embody the character of Georgia Santos. Um,
I
and really
love it.
delve in. And so then once I got closer to the end again, I changed up a couple of things, but that's how that happened. I ended up writing it backwards.
Thank you for the tip, because I started from like sort of the beginning, and I feel like no, something's not right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a sample of what you said, maybe think about backwards, think about the now before you go at the beginning. It's actually, I've read many advice like that. It's actually very, very good advice. Thank you so
Is
much.
yours based on a true story? Like, is it based off of something that you've
So
experienced?
basically, what I'm writing about is more about how I overcome challenges. So that's what basically it's more like an advice type of book.
Okay.
So I mean, a lot of us can relate to the setbacks, to the challenges. It's how you overcome them. And then I say, you know what? That's a very good idea to start off with that. And I say, okay, I can definitely relate as something easy, second nature to me. But
Hmm.
something that should be easy actually isn't, because I've started since I spoke to you last time, since August, I started and I'm getting stuck. So what I do, I just leave it aside and then I come back to it. But I'm like, it takes like, you really have to forget all your stuff. You have to really concentrate on that task. You have to forget anything. You have to be selfish. Forget about the husband, forget about the kids, forget about your job, forget about anything, but just concentrate on that. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Well, think about, something you've recently overcame and then think about, kind of do it backwards that way.
Yeah.
What was the outcome? Okay, you overcame, but then start to roll back what
Mm-hmm.
happened before and then all of that. And then I'm sure you'll get a ton of ideas just from that.
Yes, yes, definitely. Thank you so much for the advice. But I also want to say a big thank you, because I needed that push. I needed that person. And I remember I felt your spirit. I'm like, this person, she's so open. She's so like, yeah, I feel like I can reach out to you. I feel like the way, even on your Instagram, yeah, just click the button, come and follow me and stuff. I'm like, That's like an invitation. That's amazing. And I like that the fact that when I invited you on my podcast, you say yes straight away. And I never knew if you had done this before, but I'm sure, and I told you before, and I'm going to tell you again, be prepared to be invited to more podcasts, to more interviews. I see a lot of things happening for you. So please keep writing, keep everything that you're doing. And I love that you use your ADHD in a beautiful way. This is not stopping you. So actually, I think it's never going to stop you because you got too much energy. Like, you know what? I can't just sit there. I mean, I'm surprised you're sitting here talking to me still. So,
Oh, that's because mine is within attention. So I'm not physically hyperactive, but my brain is, here, there, and everywhere.
but I want everyone to watch this and say, look, you can have ADHD and you can still be creative. You can use it. You can do
Yep.
something with it. You shouldn't let that stop you. You shouldn't shy away from it. We have so many with ADHD who don't know what to do. So honestly, you will be, I'm telling you, you'll be a spokesperson one day. Mark my words. So
Oh, thank
if there's
you.
an invitation for that, please take it. Say yes. I know what I'm talking about. I'm doing this, and you got already body of work to prove that. So honestly, I can't wait to see what else you have to offer. And honestly, whenever your books come out, let me know. I'm here. I love to read. So please make sure we can have them access in the UK. That's the only advice, only favor I'm gonna ask you. If we can have them
Absolutely.
available in the UK, that'd be great.
Absolutely. My
Yeah.
editor is actually from the UK, so
Yes. Yes. Thank you, editor. Thank you very much. Thinking of us. And don't forget us too, right? America, of course, but us before any other places.
yeah,
Thank you.
because you guys love to read over there.
We love it. And
Yeah.
I like to have my students to always make sure reading, even if you don't like it, find something that you like
Hmm.
because that takes you away from your world. It takes you to somewhere else to see some another perspective, another experience. So I do encourage them. All of them are always, I always will, even my own children. So my last final question and a big thank you as well for coming on my podcast. So what would be your main tip advice for young people that want to be, writers, authors one day, or want to be a therapist one day and have ADHD? So three advice if you can give. I know I'm being, selfish, but if you can give three pieces of advice, that'd be really, really helpful.
I think the biggest thing is to first, understand yourself, and accepting yourself, flaws and all,
Yeah,
and just to never give up. Find what you love when you're doing what you love, it's not work.
yeah.
So tap into, what you love. And we're all different. Nobody is, we aren't robots. Everybody is different. And so you have to find what your talent is. Like what's your thing and tap into that. And you that way you can shine.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Mm-hmm.
there's people who can sing and dance really good. There are people who can't sing, can't hold a note, but they could, write or cook really well or whatever it is. And a disability doesn't have to be a disability. You can turn that into, your ability to have that drive you,
Mm-hmm.
and just defy the odds, because I, I guarantee the smartest brains in the world were neurodivergent.
Yes, that's true. Einstein, and the list goes on.
Yep. All
Just
of our
great.
inventions, all of those things were made by neurodivergent minds.
Yes.
So,
And I'm speaking to one right now, genius, that is paving the way for more authors. Hopefully, if my book comes out, I'm definitely gonna write your name down because honestly, I want to say a big thank you. You have inspired
thank
me.
you so much.
It's a pleasure, and I'm sure you're gonna inspire more people. So please,
I hope to.
everyone, yes, and you are. Please, everyone, watch out for you because what you're doing is amazing. And thank you so much. As I said, anytime you come to the UK one day, let me know. When I go to the US one day, I'll let you know. Yeah.
Absolutely. Please do.
Thank you, Amari. Thank you so, so much. Yes,
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
definitely. I'll keep in touch.
Yes, please do. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.